All right, this PowerPoint is for Green Architecture, Gateway to Technology, and we are talking about measuring practice. This is to go along with Activity 1.1 in our architectural basics. All right, so I'll walk you through this PowerPoint. My suggestion is there are a couple things that you should be taking down with notes in your notebook that are provided for you. If you don't have that, at least another notebook. You should be taking some notes that will help you going forward. All right, so get my mouse and everything going here. All right, so we are talking about the English measuring system, dealing with inches, feet, yards, something we're all very familiar with. We start asking the question, how many inches are in a foot? Well, from our basic math class, we know that there are 12 inches in a foot. How many feet are in a yard? How many quarter inches in an inch? How many eighth inches in an inch? Can you figure out a pattern that's going on here? 12 inches to an inch or to a foot, 3 feet to a yard, 4 quarter inches to an inch, 8 eighth inches in an inch. Can you figure it out how it's going? If we say that we have 1/16 inches, that means there are 16 sixteenths in an inch. And 30 seconds, that means we've got 32 in an inch. I've got to move my little deal here. In fact, we'll go ahead and hide that. All right. So moving along, if we locate the ruler mark, where is the 1 3/4? Well, we want to start looking at this and saying, okay, the 1 means we've got a whole inch. And then what's that plus the 3/4? Right there is 1 3/4. Where's 3 1/2? So we'll find the big 3, which is the whole inches, and then find the half inch after that. Where's 4 1/4? Again, start by finding the big number, the whole inches, the 4, right here, and then we'll tack on the quarter inch. Where's 5 1/2? Locate the big 5 or the 5 inches and then the half inch mark after that. Where's 0? 0 is at the very left end of our ruler. Boom, all measurement starts from 0. So if we try and read our line, what is that? See if you can kind of think along with me here. We're less than an inch, so we are just plain 3/4 of an inch. This one, it's over an inch, so we'll take the inch plus where the fraction is 1 1/4. Then we have an inch plus our fraction 1 5/8. Now we're beyond the 2, so it's the 2 inches plus the fraction. So 2 3/8 is what we'd call that. This one, again, greater than 2. What's our fraction? 7/8 becomes 2 7/8 of an inch. This one, we're beyond the 3, so we take our whole 3 inches plus the fraction, 3 1/2. Continuing the same way, we're beyond 4, so it's 4 in the fraction, 4 1/8. If we do a little bit more practice, well, now we have to count the divisions between this. And just a tip for our class, we will be getting no smaller on the inches than 1/16 of an inch. So you have to count the number of divisions in an inch to start with. So if we count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 divisions from here all the way up to 1 whole inch. So A would be 4 divisions, 4 out of 16. So 4/16 is the same as a quarter inch. We always want to reduce our fractions. A good place to put a note in your notebook. We always want to reduce fractions, give a proper fraction. To give you an idea on that, we should start out with an odd, or end up with an odd over an even. 1 being the odd number, and 4 being the even. That's the reduced fraction. 4/16 is the same, but that's not a proper fraction. So again, applying your math class, we've already learned this. We're just refreshing, reviewing that. B, well, if we want to count these divisions, we know there are 16 divisions, but if you take note here, every 2, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're talking eighths of an inch. So we are at the 7/8 mark. Okay, 14/16, or if we reduce that, 7/8. Likewise here, look at C. Now we're beyond the inch. So we have to say it's 1 inch plus whatever the fraction is. If we want to count our sixteenths again, we can count sixteenths. Or if we're catching on to measuring, every second mark is an eighth. Whatever you get used to. There's nothing wrong with counting every little 16th mark. We know that's 10 sixteenths, but is that a proper fraction? No, we need to reduce that. Divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, gives us 1 and 5/8 of an inch. That's our proper fraction. Letter D, we're beyond 2, but if we count the little marks again, 1, 2, 3, 3 sixteenths. Proper fraction? Sure, because it's odd over even. Letter E, we're still greater than 2, but not quite 3. If we count the little marks again, we have 14 of these little tiny marks if we want to count each of those, or these are eighths, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eighths is the same as 2 and 14 sixteenths. So a little refresher in that. We're going to have an activity we'll have you do called the ruler game. So we're going to make a game out of measuring. You'll practice with that a little bit over the next several days. The next part, now we've refreshed in our brain a little bit about measuring. Now we start applying this to architecture because our class is Green Architecture. So to do that, we need to use something called architectural notation or architectural units. A couple notes would be appropriate here again as we break this down. Most architectural drawings use the architectural representation that displays measurement in feet and inches. So if we see an example like we've got right here, 16-2 does not mean 16 feet minus 2 inches. It means 16 feet and 2 inches. Recognizing the abbreviations, the apostrophe is the abbreviation for feet. The half of a quote is the abbreviation for inches. So 16-2 is the same thing that means 16 feet and 2 inches, 16-2. Sometimes we need to know, I'm going to move my picture a little bit here. We need to know a measurement in only inches or only feet, not feet and inches. So we have to use something called a conversion factor. It's a ratio or a fraction that relates to a measurement in one unit to the same measurement in another unit. For example, we know some basic numbers from measuring. We know that 3 feet is the same as 1 yard. So we can create a conversion factor right here, 3 feet over 1 yard. That's our conversion factor, creating a ratio that tells us a ratio of feet to yards is 3-1. Again, here comes your math that we're applying again. All right, moving to our next screen here. Feet to inches. So we have 1 foot we know is 12 inches. It gives you a 12-1 ratio or a conversion factor of 12 inches over 1 foot. We use the idea of the desired units. If we want to get from feet to inches, we use a conversion factor with the desired over the given. Gives you a ratio in this case of 12-1. If we want to talk about miles to feet, probably something you know already, 1 mile is the same as 5,280 feet, or a conversion factor of desired over given, 5,280 feet over the given of 1 mile. Okay, get my mouse in the right spot here. The ratio then is 5,280 to 1. Conversion factors, boy, I'm fighting with my picture here, aren't I? The conversion factor, using a conversion factor to cancel out unwanted units is similar to canceling common factors when multiplying fractions. And I'm sure this may not be your favorite part of math, but I'm sure you've done it before. 5/7 times 7/3, we can go ahead and cross out similar numbers. Cross out the 7s, it leaves us with 5/3. Same thing works with units. If we have 17.2 yards, and we know anything over 1 is that number, we want to convert that to feet. Here comes our conversion factor. How many feet in a yard? There it is, 3 feet in 1 yard. Notice how our units can cancel out. Here's our yards, here's our yards. they can cancel out, leaving us with our desired number being feet. So we cross up our units, then we simply multiply our fractions. 17.2 times 3 will tell us how many feet we have, noting that our units remain feet because that's the only unit left because these two have canceled out. Gives us 51.6 feet over 1. We can drop the 1 now because anything over 1 is itself. We've solved our problem. Convert 17.2 yards to feet. Here's our answer, 51.6 feet. All right, so now your turn. If we're going to convert 4 feet to inches, what are we going to do? Let's write down 4 feet over 1. Conversion factor, again, we want to get rid of the feet. So we say desired units over the given units. We want to get to inches. We know there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Therefore, we can create our conversion factor and cross out our feet, leaving us with 4 times 12. And what units are left? Inches. 48 over 1 is the same as 48 inches. Okay? So if you want to make a note in your notebook, if you're going to make a conversion factor, it comes down to looking at your problem. We want to convert 4 feet to inches. So we want to get 2 inches. That's our desired units. So we want to get to desired units over the given units. We're given feet. So a conversion factor always ends up just like that. Desired, in this case, inches over feet. Okay? That's our conversion factor. All right, so let's convert a couple things here. Some examples that we will try out to see how this works with architectural notation. So if we convert 2 feet, 5 inches to inches, well, our inches are all right, aren't they? We need to convert this guy. So we say 2 feet plus 5 inches. What do we have to do? Well, the 2 feet is all we need to convert. So we take the 2 feet, use our conversion factor of 12 inches, which is our desired units is inches, over 1 foot. Our feet will cross out, leaving us with 12 times 2 plus 5. And we know because of our math skills, PEM does, we're going to use our parentheses first, and then we'll do our addition last. So 2 times 12 plus 5. 2 times 12 we know is 24, plus 5 inches. Again, we can drop the 1. Gives us an answer of 29 inches. Let's do another one, converting to inches. So we're given 1 foot is how many inches? Well, that's an easy one. We all probably know that. But if we wanted to do a conversion factor, we could. We would put 12 inches over 1 foot. How about 1 foot 8 inches equals how many inches? Well, we'll do the same thing. We'll take 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. So in this case, without doing very complicated math, we can say 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. So convert that 1 foot to 12 inches plus our inches, that becomes 20 inches. How about 3 feet 6 inches to inches? Same thing. First convert the 3 feet to inches, so 3 times 12 plus our 6 inches. 3 times 12, notice our conversion factor here. Add the 6 inches that we already have in the correct units. Add them together, we've got 42. One more. 15 feet, 11 inches. We need to, again, convert our feet to inches. So 12 inches times the 15 feet plus the 11 gives us 15 feet times 12 plus 11, 191 inches. Hopefully by now you're starting to see the formula, the consistency in converting our feet to inches first. We know that there are 12 inches in a foot, so we just have to multiply times 12. How about 21 feet to yards? Now, this one's a little bit different. What do we know about feet and yards? Well, we know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So we want to get to yards. So our conversion factor is going to be 21 feet. Conversion factor just upside down of these because our desired is yards, our given is feet. we know that there is 1 yard in 3 feet. So simply take 21 and divide by 3. Cross out our units, gives us 1 yard, 21 divided by 3 is 7 yards. All right, a couple more. If we have 4 blocks that equals 1 inch in length, what's the conversion factor? 2 blocks. All right, we want to get 4 blocks equals 1 inch, so it's conversion factor for inches, 2 blocks. So our desired is blocks. That's 4 blocks in 1 inch. There's our conversion factor. Desired over the given. How many blocks in 3 inches then? Well, if we take our 3 inches times 4 blocks over 1 inch, gives us 12 because of our conversion factor. All right, now, if we take again, 4 blocks equals 1 inch, there's our conversion factor. We have 6 inches. That means 6 inches times 4 blocks over 1 inch. We'll cancel out our units, leaving us with blocks. 6 times 4 is 24 blocks. What if we have 2.5? We do the same thing. The 2.5 times our conversion factor. We know that there are 4 blocks in 1 inch. That becomes 10 blocks. So whatever the units we're working with, we can make a conversion factor. It can be blocks, it can be inches, it can be feet, it can be yards, any of the above. All right, now we're going to get down to the basics of our class. So the idea of those first several slides was to set you up with a little understanding of the background that you already know from your math class. Now we want to convert units so that we can measure out rooms and sizes, because we're talking architecture, and with architecture we're talking about area. Maybe you're going to put carpet into a room. Area, maybe you're going to paint your walls or paint your ceiling or put some ceiling material up. That helps us moving forward. So the process of converting feet and inches to decimal feet is simple and powerful. You'll use this method to calculate area and perimeter in future activities. And these are important math skills that we can apply to architecture. So our example, if we want to convert 7 feet 4 inches to decimal feet, we would just say 7 feet. Okay, we want to go to decimal feet. Do we have to convert our 7? No, because that's already in feet, correct? Okay, so 7 feet, but we have to convert the inches to decimal feet. 4 inches times, and we want to go desired over given, okay? We know that that 1 foot has 12 inches in it. So we multiply this times our conversion factor. Our units will cancel, leaving us in feet. So we're basically saying 4 divided by 12. In that case, 1 foot equals 12 inches. Therefore, 7 feet plus the solution to everything in parentheses comes to 0.333 feet. Add those together, we've got 7.333 feet. All right. Now, if we want to convert architectural notation to decimal feet, where this becomes very important is if you need to go and get material to put new carpet in your bedroom, or maybe you're going to paint a wall. These are hard to multiply numbers that have mixed units together. So what we do is we have to convert this. Now this is a very, very, very important part of what we're doing. So I'm going to ask you to make notes in your notebook. And as we go forward, you can use your notebook in activities that we do, even in tests and quizzes on a lot of these things. I will, in most cases, allow you to use your notebooks. It's very important. Write this in your engineering notebook, okay? So here's how this is going to work. We want to convert 23 feet 6 inches to decimal feet. Basically, that says 23 feet plus 6 inches divide by 12 because of our conversion factor gives us 23 plus 0.5 feet. That becomes 23.5 feet. If we want to convert 16 feet 9 inches to decimal feet, much the same way. We're trying to get to decimal feet, so the 16 is fine, but we have to add this once we convert it. So the same thing, 16 plus the 9 divided by 12. So in summary, here's the note I want you to write down. This part in red. To convert architectural notation, in other words, feet and inches, to decimal feet, we take the feet. In this example, 16, and we add that to the inches that we're given, in this case 9 divided by 12. Okay? So make yourself a nice big clear note in your notebook to convert architectural notation to decimal feet. We take the feet plus the inches divided by 12. And if you need to pause the video to write that down, that is a great idea. All right, let's move forward. If we're going to convert decimal feet to architectural notation, here's what we do. We take our 10.5 feet to architectural notation, 10 feet plus 0.5 times 12, because our conversion factor says that we want to get the feet to inches. And where that's helpful is if we're drawing something, we want someone to easily understand as they're measuring how many feet in inches. The other way is helpful if we're going to buy material, perhaps for a floor, a wall, or a ceiling. Okay? So in this case, 10 feet plus 0.5 times 12 gives you your answer of 10 feet 6 inches, or the way we've correctly written it in architectural notation, 10 feet hyphen 6 inches. 10 feet 6 inches is how we would say that. We can do the same thing with 16.75 feet. Change that to architectural notation. We take 16 feet plus the 0.75 times 12 gives us 16 feet plus 9 inches. Write that in the proper notation, 16 feet 9 inches, 16 hyphen 9 inches. These are the answers that we're looking for. When you correctly write something in architectural notation, you'll write your feet hyphen inches. Second very important note. Please write this one down in your notebook as well. To convert decimal feet to architectural notation, you take the feet plus the decimal number times 12. So we're taking the feet, 16 plus, make sure you use parentheses, the decimal number 0.75 times 12. Okay? So the difference there, one is converting decimal feet to architectural notation. The other one takes architectural notation and it breaks that down. Architectural notation becomes decimal feet. The difference is one is the clear-cut way to draw things. The other one is the clear-cut way to go and buy materials. Okay? So we'll use this a little bit in our activities. We'll start to become familiar with floor plans already. If we want to figure how much flooring we need for bedroom number 3, it's very difficult to multiply 10 feet 5 inches times 12 feet 5 inches. This is where converting to decimal feet comes in. So what are the bedroom dimensions for number 3? Well, we would take 10 feet 5 inches and convert that. Remember how we did that? 10 feet 5 inches, that's a really difficult way to multiply. But if we convert that first, 10 feet, so we take our feet plus the inches divided by 12. We multiply that times 12 feet, which is the other dimension, plus the inches divided by 12. Again, make sure you all follow your order of operations. We've got like double parentheses here. So do your parentheses, add it together. Do your parentheses, add it together. And then you can multiply everything in these brackets or parentheses times everything in these brackets or parentheses. And in that case, we become 10.417 times 12.417 becomes the area of our room. Now, if we're going to the carpet store, maybe you're going to Suburban Furniture, maybe you're going to Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, you can go in there and tell them, my room measures 129.348 square feet. And that's going to make a lot more sense to them as you start to buy your carpet. Now, the tip as we get further into this is that you couldn't get by with 129 square feet. If you have to round something, you always want to round up, because if I only got 129 square feet of carpet, I'm going to be about 0.3 or 1/3 of a square foot short. Okay, so make sure we round up. In this case, if I'm going over to Menards to buy carpet, I need at least 130 square feet to carpet my room. So hopefully that gives you an oversight as far as our measurement. Hopefully you've taken some notes here. We'll start applying that in our activity as we get down to working with architectural units, architectural notation, and we'll move forward and apply that. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.